Argentina. Come on down. Miss Bahamas. And now presenting Miss Czech Republic. Presenting Miss Georgia. And now let me call on Miss India. Come on down, Miss Indonesia. Let me now call on Miss Malaysia. And now presenting Miss Namibia. And let me present to you Miss Romania. Joining our lovely group is Miss Singapore. And now let's call on Miss Slovak Republic. And last but not the least, let's call on Miss Venezuela. Okay, thank you ladies. And now to give welcome remarks to our candidates and visitors today, may I now call on the COO of Uniqlo Philippines, Mr. Katsumi Kubota.
Hi and hello everyone. Thank you for coming here to help us promote your film.
Yes, hello. Hello po sa inyo lahat. Thank you. At bibigyan niyo po kami ng oras para matulungan kami i-promote ang aming pelikula. Direct.
Hello, salamat po sa pagpunta at sa pag-welcome sa amin dito sa Cebu.
Ako si Carson dito. Si Carson, hindi siya yung usual female character na napapanood niyo sa mga romantic comedy film. Ba't ko tinanggap to? Kasi at least may experience kong malasing, maging lasinggera. Tapos, ayun, parang ano pa ba dito si Carson? Ayun, lasinggera, tapos 7 years nang in love sa kanyang best friend. So, dito sa pelikula, abangan nyo kung siya may makakagraduate ng college at makakagraduate na rin sa feelings niya sa kanyang best friend.
Ako naman po dito si Dio. Dio is obviously Carson's best friend. Na for 7 years sila nasa college and for 7 years mag-best friend sila. I'm a film student siya dito, taking up film. Frustrated filmmaker siya at the same time. He doesn't know where to kung saan dadalhin ang buhay niya, kung patuloy ba siya mag-aaral o magko-concentrate ba siya to film. At ito na nga, para i-settle niya rin yung score na yun at para matapos niya yung lahat ng mga dilemma niya at makapag-decide na siya, niyaya niya si Carson to a road trip na magsisettle ng mga issues and feelings namin para sa isa't isa. Live ba yun?
I see your face.
Video lang. Ay, naka-live yan.
There's live there.
Anong live?
That one.
Yung
Facebook na I'm drunk, and then, saan po tayo?
Super Balita.
Super Balita. Hello po!
Hello everyone.
Isa ako sa mga artistang gustong mabuhay ang OPM at ang mga pelikulang Pinoy. Kaya sana po tulungan niyo kami na ikalat ang magandang balita na
Damay na rin yung Mindanao.
oo. Yun po, na may magandang pelikula ilalabas ang PBA at itong I'm Drunk, I Love You. Kasama namin Jasmine Curtis Smith, Dominic Rocco, Miss Irma Adlawan, and Mr. Jean Paredes. At yun, it's directed by Direct JP. So, alam naman po natin na ilang beses nyo nang nabibigyan ng chance yung mga iba at alam natin magagaling na. But sana this time, bigyan nyo ng chance ipakita ni Direct JP yung galing niyang gumawa. At yung makita niya yung passion niyang gumawa ng pelikula. At may mga short films po siya na nanalo na din po sa
One in Cine Filipino last year
Yes.
called Maria, and the other one was featured in Cannes.
Yes, ang
Nakakahiya
film
naman.
festival. Excuse me.
Yes.
Pero, yun po, yun. Ako, proud ako sa project na to. Hindi lang dahil maganda yung storya, kundi nakaka-proud at masaya kung nakakilala ko ng bagong grupo na iba yung passion sa paggawa ng pelikula. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here for coming here and giving us a few hours na yata, or giving us a few minutes of your time this day. And it would be really a big help that you guys are here and you guys are willing to help us and write about the film or spread the news that our film is coming out this Feb 15. So I want to thank you in advance and yeah, thank you again. So.
But thank you so much for taking the time today. Thank you to our friends from the press for being here today. And thank you in advance for helping us spread the word about Bliss. Gerald?
Yes po. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be back here in Cebu. I don't know if some of you know that I made my first full-length film here in Cebu. Yeah, Confessional. That was 10 years ago. So, thank you for attending this private, very intimate screening. And salamat din sa for staying. And looking forward to your whatever questions you want to ask. Comment on the original X rating, right? Kasi I haven't really had a chance to explain what happened back then. Pero in a nutshell, What happened was the first panel who rated it X weren't actually offended by the film. They were kind of just looking out for a small group of people who might be offended by it. Pero sila mismo, hindi sila offended. Which already makes the whole X rating highly questionable based dun sa guidelines nila. Kasi... Sorry?
We're the small group.
Conservative...
Oo.
Yeah, conservative people na... Ayan, the usual conservative people na who might be offended by nudity and profanity and etc. So yun, so that makes the whole X rating highly questionable kasi if you follow the guidelines and everything that came before formulating those guidelines, they were already highly inconsistent with it. So yun lang. And what's the second question?
What
Sorry.
should be
Ayun, yeah. It's para sa akin R16 should be fine. Yeah. After General Luna, which back then was kind of like the hardest film I've done in terms of logistics, sabi ko, gusto kong gumawa ng sobrang simple na pelikula, maliit lang. As in, sobrang simple. And ito yung lumabas. So, after this, I was really, sobrang napagod ako actually. And hindi lang kasi siya about logistics eh. It's about the entire creative process and yun nga, yung mga iba-ibang themes and trying to tie them all together. So the only thing I can say was it was really difficult to produce this. Pero in a way, sinuwerte din ako kasi the executive producers were so supportive and they just let me do whatever I wanted within reason, syempre. Within budgetary reason. So, pero yan, so yan, pero nahirapan ako and frankly, parang yan muna yung magagawa kong kanyang ka-extreme and after that, I kind of want to go back to a more simpler storytelling style. And then maybe after another 10 years, mababali ulit ako. The entire thing actually was a process of exploration for me. Kasi personally, never pa akong gumawa ng ganyang klaseng pelikula. So, habang ginagawa namin yung pelikula, medyo hinahanap ko pa siya. Yung kung paano siya ikwento. In fact, kasi usually when I do movies, sobrang planado na lahat. And alam ko na yung timing and yung pacing ng mga actors. Dito, while we were shooting, medyo hinahanap ko pa siya. And then, when we finished shooting, inedit ko yung buong pelikula according to the script. And sobrang hindi siya nag-work. And medyo nag-panic ako personally and parang I took like a day off. And then I re-edited the entire thing. And yun yung lumabas. So, the whole film actually is me pretty much searching for how to tell the story.
Pag hindi mo na kaya, sumigaw ka lang. Tapos, you just have to sometimes let it out. But I deal with it by working out, which can be stressful also. But the best way talaga for me is to connect with nature. Do you also meditate? And a bit of yoga. So that's with the stress. The sleeping hours, honestly, it's one of the worst stuff, like thing that I have to, people like us, like people in the industry have to work to deal with. It's really hard. Especially now, I'm feeling it more that I'm getting older. When I was young, parang, wala, okay lang, segue forever, okay lang. But now, siguro kasi I still have to work out, yung ganyan, ang dami kong gustong gawin. Nagbabog down na yung system ko. I'm not as, kumbaga, it's really a bit bad, it's quite bad for your health. So I'm really grateful that now they're giving the 2 a.m. cutoff. But even that, parang nadasal ka sana one day maging 12. Alam mo yung parang, but I'm already grateful instead of ending at 7 a.m. the next day. With the things naman that I miss out on, like the things that I used to do when I was an artista. Kasi when I entered, 19 na ako, so ang dami ko nang nagawa as a normal, yung average person that, you know, has the freedom to do all these things without being judged by everybody else around. her or him or her. Yun lang yung nakakamiss. Mas, nagagawa ko pa naman sa ibang bansa. Yung ikaw yung nakatitig sa tao, imbis na ikaw yung tinitignan. Sarap tumingin sa tao eh. Tsaka yung parang pag may nakilala ka, wala silang first impression na sa'yo. Yung parang marami na silang nabasa tungkol sa'yo. Masarap din yung ganun. Tapos kikilalanin nyo talaga yung isa't isa base sa conversation ninyo sa araw na yun. Yun yung mga nakakamiss siguro. Pero ano naman yun eh. Sanayan na. Gerald Taro, kakapalabas lang ng Hinaraluna eh. So ako parang, oh my God, it's like, I have a psycho thriller, would you like to read it or read for it? Ganyan. I was in LA, tapos sabi ko sa kanya, yeah! Tapos sabi ko, ay, hindi pala tayo close, sorry. Na-excite ako. So pinadala niya sa akin, I was expecting parang mga Gone Girl, yung mayroon akong papatayin, or may murder, something. 7, or whatever. Silence of the Lambs. Ganun. Hindi yun yung nabasa ko. Sabi ko, alam, parang ako, artista, ganyan. Sabi ko, wait lang. But I really wanted to do something different from what I've been doing. Like Jane. Sabi ko, ako nga si Jane. So, because of that, I said, I also wanted to meet with Gerald because I'd never met him before. That's all I asked, like one meeting with him before I actually go into auditions to understand where he's coming from and what the film is about for him. Yan, ganyan. Then I read for it. I really wanted to do the film.
At ngayon babawi na Ganda na Nasanay ako sa aking pag-iisa At kaya lang iwanan na Pakas ng kahapon ko Tuloy pa rin ang awit ng buhay ko Nagbago man ang init ng puso mo
Ako amigo, favorite naman ko. Ako lang sa laro. Kanang cheat day sa diatra. Kaya, babaero lang ko kung madaghan ka. Ikaw ganahan nung sama ni mo. Kaya, ikaw na yun mismo akong gusto. Whoa, oh, oh, excuse me na. Whoa, oh, oh, imong dagwan. Parehas lang sa akong feature. Baby, adlaw, ikaw ragi. Ako ang ligo-ligo. Wak ba ka, nalito. Kasi tuyo sa akong ko. Sa iyong pagkaraaga. Nasaan ka sa bumbong. You and I will never part. Kailangan ka sa akin. I like the idea of forever with you. Pero, ingon nila, why forever? Okay na ko, with you na lang. Kalibasing ka. Oh, kung mahogany ka. Oh, narako. Oh, adlong tako. Sabado. Oh, kaya mo?
Trust me, their food tastes absolutely delicious. I felt like I was really spoiled by Rosie because they
do we have a timer here? Wala? Okay, I'll just go with my watch. Okay, A, you have to watch. Okay, are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, go!
So my first ever experience with Filipinos, gawas sa Filipinas in Hong Kong, magtrabaho a lot. So imagine this, I work this hardcore wake up at 4 in the morning job taking students around Hong Kong into the outdoors. We work all day till about 9 p.m. looking after them. And I was working with 15 Filipinos. I always look at them and be like, grabe man. They're always like, trabaho, klipay, pwede, kaya na, woo! And then on the weekends, they're always patak, let's eat together, tagay, woo! Like they're really, really cool, you know? So I was working with these guys, like, man, I'd been all over Southeast Asia, but I'd never been to the Philippines. Like, I want to get to know them more. So I started hanging out with them in Hong Kong. And then I got interested in the Philippines. They started mentioning, man, you should come visit. So, and I'll never forget walking out. There's actually these two guys with cardboard boxes. You see in this photo here, I have like a cardboard box, right? When I first walk out of the airport, I look over and like, I think they're beggars, you know, because I've been around traveling. So there's just people in cardboard boxes. Sometimes I think, you know, you stereotype maybe they're begging. So I look at them and no money. And then I walk past. And then they follow me. And I'm like, what the heck? And I look back, I'm like, no. And then I see they're actually wearing, welcome Kyle, mabuhay, we love you Kyle. They're my friends. My Filipino buddies set me up. And I walked in the morning, it was just a happiness overload. But what happened is, for that month in January, I spent 3 weeks in the Philippines. And the first week was actually here in Cebu. This is taken at the airport. And then we ended up traveling around Cebu for a week, in Cagayan de Oro and Mindanao for a week, a little bit over to Davao and then up to Quezon City.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome author Kevin Kwan. Good afternoon, Kevin. Great to meet you too.
Hello.
So how has your time in Cebu been so far?
I just arrived like 45 minutes ago.
Straight to work.
So, straight to work. It's great to be here at this beautiful mall, Cebu, and Cebu is so beautiful. So,
I hope you have more time to enjoy your beaches this weekend.
I hope so too.
Kevin, I have to confess, I am such a big fan. So I would like to open the floor for questions from our friends from the media. I'm sure all of you are very excited to ask Oy. Anyone like to start? We're also limiting the questions to 1 per person because we know Kevin's time is very precious.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Hello, how are you?
What inspired you to create such diverse characters in the novel?
You know, I never thought of them as diverse. You know, I think when I first began writing it, I was really trying to write from a place of memory and inspiration and truth. And a lot of it is inspired by my childhood in Singapore, so naturally there would be a lot of Singaporeans. But because my family was also very international, you know, a lot of my relatives moved to Hong Kong, moved to Thailand, moved to Australia. I got a chance to travel to those places and then meet other family, so everyone's all over Asia and all over the world. But they tend to be Asian. So I guess in that way, it was a natural diversity that happened.
We thought of coming here to promote the film, so it will get a wider audience. Yung backstory lang ng Puti actually was made way back in 2013. So this was actually Ian's very first indie film. He actually auditioned it. Kakatapos lang ng Got to Believe, in between his series, I was looking for an actor who would portray the role of a painter. So, and that's something very difficult to cast because you know when you're faking painting, it can really show. So my brother actually was also served as a consultant, who's an artist, sculptor, said, why don't you try Ian Veneracion, because he is the son of visual artist Roy Veneracion, so he's quite famous in the art circle, and he actually paints. So during that time, I think this was very new to him. So we came straight from the taping. He has to audition. No, not to audition. To actually audition. And when he came, parang perfect yung reading niya. His age at the time, the look that I wanted, na parang medyo pagod siya and is looking for parang truth, some truth in his, or meaning in his career. So yung Puti kasi actually is not a straightforward horror film. It works on a level na may layers. It's a bizarre mystery thriller. And here's Mr. Noble. In the film, he plays Amir Luna, the painter.
How did you prepare yourself for this project since it's your first indie film?
Usually, well, while we were talking now, naisip ko lang, I think yung approach, the difference. Usually, when I have a role, I add stuff. It's addition. I mean, kunwari ang role mo, something na malayo sa akin, I add and I add. Pero for this role, I had to subtract and subtract and subtract. Because it was really close to my own personality. It was close to my temperament, the character. And, I'm very comfortable around, being around dirty walls and paint and dust and canvas and stuff like that, because it's what I do in real life. And so, it was a subtraction talaga on my part. In letting go of that, for example, getting rid of before I used to do action movies. So, getting rid of that macho culture, getting rid of that action image, getting rid of the cute, matinee idol type of vibe, getting rid of a lot of stuff. So I felt more myself during the movie, doing the movie. And that's a big difference do sa mga ibang roles na ginagawa ko. Na usually it's addition, not subtraction.
Hello! Thank you, Miss Sarah! Miss Sarah Gio, Kasimana! Bago pa ang lahat, we would like to acknowledge the presence of Lapu-Lapu Mayor Ms. Cas Gardaza. Mayor?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Kamusta po kayo? Welcome po.
Welcome po. Thank you po for coming to see our show. Maraming salamat po. magaling kumanta, magaling sumayaw, mabait pa.
Ako po.